Well, hello. And welcome to the HHTCR Season 1 Round 5. And we find ourselves at Suzuka today. Whiskey, what is up, my friend? How was your flight? How was your fight? Quickly sort the social medias out. Scotty Senior, joining the room. So we should have a good one today. Finding ourselves at Suzuka, and I think if Jack takes gold today here at Suzuka for round 5 of the HHTCR, he will have won the championship. Oh, thanks, Richie. Including mine, is that? Assuming. Damo, what is going on, my friend? And welcome, JD, in the chat and in the game. We are getting ready to rock and roll tonight. Gonna be on co-coms. Skitty and Don joining us in chat as well, also on track in his SMC Volkswagen Sirocco, your partner in automation. Just going to set up a chat. Mamai, what is going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. I'm just going to set up a chat with Ruth Cocoms, then we're good to go. Thank you, Richie. Thank you, thank you. My good God, so many new invites. It's overwhelming. But we've got Rue joining us today on co-coms, and we are 10 minutes away from the green for round 5 here at Suzuka. Rue, invite has been sent. Stephen Scott in the house. Hope you're doing well, my friend. few hat trick. Hope you are also doing very well today, my friend. Enjoyed watching your stream yesterday, and I think we've had the main man himself, Rue, co-commentator, joining us today. How are you, Rue?
Hello, hello, hello. Testing, testing. Is it all working?
Testing. We can hear you. We can hear you. We can hear you.
Good stuff. Hello, Matt. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Just quickly make sure you were coming out the YouTube, but you are, so yeah, very good, thank you, mate. I'm looking forward to tonight. I think if Jack wins this one, he's won the championship, I believe.
Always, him and Verstappen can win this weekend. Ah.
Yes, Verstappen seems to be doing quite well, but you sort of don't expect anything else from that man, really, do you, I guess?
He's quite good. He is quite good. I'll give him that. Yeah, I mean, obviously not as good as me. You know, if I was in a Formula 1 car, I'd beat him, obviously. But, you know, at least in some of my dreams. What's he doing? Why is he in reversing down the grid? Is he doing a practice start? He's doing a practice start.
Yeah, it looks so. Yeah, he's got himself in his grid, getting his practice starts, ready for the race.
Taking it very seriously. And they're off. Oh, no, and he's not off. And he's off? And no, he's not off.
Do you know how many races do we have for this season? Do you know?
Hold on, I could. Yes, I've something like the last one's in January or February. So give me a second, because I had this up earlier.
6 races.
Oh, six. There we go.
So one more after this.
One more after this,
and
that's right.
We are done. I'm assuming Jack is turning up tonight.
15th of January, that is. Ian's definitely lighting his tyres up. So we've got the full Suzuka circuit, the wonderful and historic R corners, both of them, the 200 and the 130. We've got I love the Japanese because the turn 1 is called turn 1 or first. You've got one that looks like a hairpin, and that's called hairpin. And 2 of them are named after the radius of the corner in degrees. So it's like, yeah. Oh, and one that looks like a spoon, and that one, strangely, is called spoon.
There you go. It's a very strange track, this one. It's all about throttle control, really, making sure you can keep them apexes clipped and maximise track widths by just sort of feathering the throttle, if you will. So it's going to be interesting to see who can feather their throttle well today. So
you can't have any ham-footed, leaden foots out there. It's got to be all delicacy, yes?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And I think any stumping on the gas, especially through the S's, it's just going to mess the suspension up and lose maybe a thousandth or a tenth here and there, which obviously all adds up at the end of the race, and staying within that infamous 0.750 of a second, that magical number of a slipstream. Slipstream,
yes. Hey. Yes, I still remember. You taught me that. 3/4 of a second. I remember.
Torsten joining the room.
So who have we got? We've got D-Max Racing. We have Racer 14, who, if my memory serves me correctly, is Doug. Is that Doug? That's Doug, isn't it? Racer 14. Oh, God, my brain's gone again. This is why I write these things down, but then I lose the piece of paper. It's a good system. It's a very good system. Yes, it is Doug! Ha! Found the piece of paper. Yes!
So we're just waiting on one more driver for this lobby, and then we should be ready to rock and roll for round 5 of the HHTCR. Maxi just joining us and getting on track, warming them tyres up.
He's warming the barrier up as well. He just puts his head in turn 1 at high speed. So there you go. Excellent. Falconer from New Zealand, up all night or early in the morning or whatever it would be for him to do this race. Glasgow,
yes.
Who's sitting
Follow me.
Very cold. Power Maxi from sunny Deutschland.
Peter from Poland joining the chat. There we go.
Oh, I could look at that, couldn't I? I've got one little screen to look at everything on.
Get yourself on that chat.
There we go.
Chat.
Richie Johnson, I've heard of him. Oh, and Hugh Patrick, I've heard of him as well. Marmite Gaming.
I think they play a bit of GT Sport. Yeah, Marmite's in the car we drive video that we're doing today. I've basically finished that. It should be ready to go by tomorrow. So.
Oh, excellent. The car we drive, yes.
2 cars. It's got the Audi, a new Audi A3, and a Toyota MR2, the old short silver one. Roof down.
Are we talking Mark 1, 2, or 3? So we're talking Mark 3, are we? The last one, MR2. We're trying to go back to the original.
I'd have to Google that one.
Well, the Mark 1, in those days, my then best friend had one, and I've driven it, and it's very nice. And that was actually a Lotus. Lotus were in some sort of technical partnership with Toyota, and to pay for some of it, they gave them a car. It was called the X100, and it was the Mark 1 MR2, which is why it was such a fantastic little driver's car.
Yeah, well, it was the Mark 3. Marmite's confirming that, Mark 3. But you'll be seeing it soon on the YouTube video.
Big, fat, heavy, and powerful, and it kind of like changed everything. And then the Mark 3, though, kind of went back to the idea of a light, chucky, two-seater thing instead of less power and more finesse, if you like. So yeah. Indeed. Sorry, I interrupted you there. Carry on.
No, you're right. I'm just checking out my settings. It's you've got to back out and back in again for some of the settings to work, which is quite strange.
It's a very strange thing. When it starts, I have to come out and go in to be able to change cars.
Yes, I have to do that to be able to use the keyboard.
Oh, right. It's a very strange game, isn't it? Very strange.
Well, interestingly enough, and I'm sure it's the same for Gran Turismo 7, but Gran Turismo is exclusively for Sony. It's got quite a big heritage to Gran Turismo, especially for me being able to play the first ever one and moving into it. And we've got the infamous Gran Turismo 7 coming out in March, but they're returning to their roots, so they're going to continue doing this, the GT Sport FAA approved sort of races, but they're bringing back the campaign, which is what made Gran Turismo so special. And obviously you can choose whatever road car you want, and you take it to the shop. You got to change your oil. You got to you can buy new parts for it, different suspension parts, different brands, exhausts, all this sort of stuff. It's just such a, I don't know, the experience is awesome. So we've got that to look forward to.
That sounds. So you're actually driving on the road as well as those tracks. Is that what I didn't even see Gran Turismo's, the older ones, so I've got nothing to compare with. I only know Gran Turismo Sport, so.
Yeah, a couple of infamous, famous tracks like the Mountain coming back, which isn't in this one. But
what, Bathurst? Not Mountain?
No. It's I can't remember the name of it specifically. It's like it's a track that's just Gran Turismo, but it's really famous. I can't remember the name of it.
Is it a real track in America?
I think it's just a Gran Turismo track that they made.
It's just made up one. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, cool.
But you're driving through like a bit of a canyon. Yeah, and through some S's with like the trees, and then you go under like this tunnel. It's just such an awesome track. So we're going to be getting all these back, so we're going to have a bigger array of tracks in Gran Turismo 7, which means we've got more tracks to drive for the sport side of it all, for the FIA races, for the dailies. Trial Mountain, there it is, Richie and Damo with legendary.
Oh, see, it's not the same without having a magical Guinness fairy in your ear roll, is it? Dare you work, get money, I mean, It's almost as if he's got like a life or something. I mean, I'm sure that's not allowed. Definitely not allowed.
Not in England. Well, here we go. It looks like we are moments away from the green for Season 1, Round 5 in the Group 4s. Here at Suzuka, we've got Dougie on P1, Ian on P2, Don in P3, followed by Peter from Poland in PTMK. We've got the Falconer in P5, and Thorsten in P6, and Glezga bringing it up the rear, but we shall see exactly what these can do today as we get the green for round 5 of the HHTCR, as all drivers slamming down the accelerator and working their way up to turn 1. Dougie looks like he's got a pretty good start. Ian firmly in second position, Don on the inside line. Is he going to be able to keep that as he exits turn 2 of Suzuka and enters the S's?
Well, they're all doing a fantastic job here. There's been no argy-bargy. Oh, a little bit of an off there. Yeah, for who's just gone off? Was it Power Maxi? Ended up on a little bit in the gravel. Bit ambitious going around those S's there.
Maxi in 7th, yeah. Falconer in 6th. Glezga now in P4.
I'm sure Power Maxi will make up the difference once he's cleaned his tyres. I actually quite like the S's.
A lot of fun. Yeah, me too.
Yeah. My very first videos were me on the East circuit, just getting used to it and playing around with the settings on a car, seeing if I could stop the back end from throwing itself around, and it was just a lot of fun, those bits. Sort of point and squirt bits, I think of those. So yeah, 6 seconds behind now, Power Maxi. He's having all sorts of troubles, bless him. Old Thorsten indeed. Well, it looks as though Folomy's got himself up into a comfortable podium position, but now it's being hunted by Glezga. Glezga nearly on the inside line of the P3. Follow me there, and we have Don in P2. He's had a pretty good start. He has, yes. And he's challenging
Glezga side by side as they come up to the penultimate corner here at Suzuka. Not quite able to get the car where he needed to be through the penultimate corner of Suzuka there. Dougie still comfortably in P1. And Don within slipstream range, as is Follow Me. All cars still pulling each other's in. We're going to jump on board with Ian in P5, just out of slipstream range of Glezga and the Falconer. We'll see whether Ian can make a few tenths here as he makes his way up to the S's.
Glezga's definitely pushing to get that position, isn't he?
He is indeed.
Behind. Oh, and there's been a mistake. Pete from Poland has ended up going a little bit into the gravel, so Glezga's got the run on him.
Oh, Glezga on the outside. Is he able to make it stick? He looks like he's got that position on
got the
Peter
position
from Poland.
200. Oh, here we go.
The old switcheroo through the end of the S's there.
Yep. Applied the pressure. Pete from Poland made the classic mistake under the pressure, and Glezga took the place, and now he's going to get after D-Max Racing. Whose name I've forgotten. Tell us, come on.
Don. Don.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It looks like they're still within slipstream range. Follow Me just out of slipstream range of Glezga in the Peugeot, now in P3. Sponsoring Nestle KitKat. He is now chasing down Don in P2, who is still within slipstream range. We've got a 1.293. Is he able to pull him in, or is Don going to pull away with the slipstream of Dougie in P1? And he is most certainly pulling away. We have cars. Ian. Is he side by side? Oh, Ian going in.
He's just trying to go in. Oh, in 130R, that was a brave move. He had his nose up the inside, and he took it. He took the position. Excellent. Well, very good job. Going into Spoon, he had a bit of a. He was approaching fast, and he had to back off so he didn't punt Peter from Poland up the bum, and he did a great job of that. You know, very fair racing. He didn't want to smack him one, so he sort of backed off, but then made the move a few corners later. Brilliant stuff.
Yes, we'll see whether he can pull that back a little bit. Peter from Poland now in P5, Falcon in P6, Maxi P7, jumping on board in P2 with a 1.3 second penalty handed out to Don there, which is meaning that Glasgow, providing he makes no mistakes, is going to have a P2 soon as they make their way out of the S's.
He's inside that slipstream range. No, he's not. Sorry, I'm lying. No, he is. Sorry, I was again looking at the wrong things. Glasgow's inside the slipstream range. The top three are very close indeed. Bit of a gap back to 4, 5 and 6, and then poor old Thorsten right at the back, bringing up the rear, but doing a fantastic job to keep in touch with everybody.
Don serving his penalty, now giving that position to Glasgow.
Glasgow's got quite a bit of a gap on him now. 3 seconds, getting on for 3.5 seconds now, and of course that's brought Ian at cars IAR 9 into contention. He's now inside or on the edge of slipstream range, going down the long straight, the back straight I suppose we can call it.
Yes, a gap and an interval of a 1.4, now a 3.8 though, between Glasgow and D-Max. D-Max Don still in podium position, being chased by Ian, who is well within slipstream range now of Don in the Scirocco as they make their way through the ultimate corner of Suzuka. Just out of slipstream range there. D-Max with a really good exit. Just able to keep within that 750 as well in the Peugeot, and pulling back, keeping an eye on P2. Second between Dougie and Glasgow here.
So let's see if Ian can do anything going through the S's. He's still in touch, no mistakes yet, but he is catching up ever more. Coming out of the S's, he's only 0.4, half second behind at most. So good scrap going on as they approach Degner.
Yeah, I'm just keeping my eye on the top right, looking at the map, and it looks as though Ian might be making a move now. 0.4 of a second separating Don and Ian, but can Don stay defensive and keep that podium position from Ian?
He's applying the pressure, definitely applying the pressure. At the moment this is about the only battle. Oh no, there's a battle for the front. Glasgow's right behind our Dougie. Oh, as they're approaching 130, is he going to do that mad move up the inside of 130R again? The Alonso effect. Was it Alonso? No, who was it that went side by? It was Alonso, wasn't it? Went side by side with somebody going through 130R. Total insanity. 180 mile an hour corner.
Wow.
Just into the casino triangle, and then out to the last corner.
I'm trying to keep an eye on both of them. Could you keep an eye on the fight between Don and Kaz, and I'll keep an eye on the fight between Dougie and Glasgow. If anything happens between Don and Ian, let me know.
I shall.
Glasgow just sort of showing his nose there as he comes up to turn 1 here at Suzuka for the HHTCR, making use of all of the track and well and truly up the bumper of that Renault Megane number 14, driven by Dougie from the US of A.
USB, I'm from America. Down, 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 down,
0.3
down,
of a
down.
second separating the Peugeot from the Renault as they come up to a small braking section. Make sure you use all of that curb.
T-Max made a mistake and Carsey through. He went wide coming out of 200R, ended up on the grass, and Ian just drove down the inside. Bless.
So Ian's made a few positions from the beginning of this race then.
Yep. He's doing well, doing very well. Let's not forget, we've got Paramaxi at the back, who is, in a lonely 7th, but he's keeping it on the tarmac. He's doing a great job. He's doing some, let's see, his times 2:13s, his good laps 2:13s, which is pretty good compared with what I can do, so no complaints there. Then you got Falconer, who's he's a little bit inconsistent. So he's got his fastest is a 2:11.5, and his slowest is a 2:14 of his proper laps rather than the first lap.
Oh, Glasgow is right on the bumper of them again now.
He's Kit-Katting away. He wants that position. You can smell victory.
Does indeed. Well, just under 20 minutes, so we just had just over a third of racing here at Suzuka. He's well and truly within slipstream range. It looks like he's going to go for the racing line, and last minute takes an inside, but not able to make it happen. Oh, there's a little bit of contact, but he's waited to give that position back, and the fight remains still within slipstream range, and that is just gonna show with 18 minutes left to go. Can he make it happen? What do you think? Is he gonna get P1 today?
Well, he's got 18.5 minutes to do it, so there's plenty of time for everything to go right or wrong for both of them. But that was superb. That was so fair of Glasgow, wasn't it? Obviously, they had a bit of contact. Can you imagine either Lewis or Max doing that?
Side by side. It is a battle between Lewis and Max here. Oh, Glasgow! Hanging onto that like a boss.
Oh, that was superb. That was a bit like Science earlier today in the qualifying. Twice he span and didn't hit anything. Just unbelievable. I didn't see it. I only heard it on the radio because I listened to it live on the radio. So Glasgow did a similar job of not totaling his car. Brilliant. He's got to make up a little bit of time now. He's got that. He's about a second behind. So, he was putting the pressure on. And now, just that little bit going wide. Back tyres on the dirt. Give him a bit of a fishtail. He's got a bit tail happy slappy. 209s. Very quick indeed. What's
Yeah, I'm just having a look at the timing monitor. Sector 4 goes to... Oh no, that's the fastest lap. Fastest lap goes to Glasgow with a 209.026. D-Max not too far off either, as is Dougie.
Yeah, the two at the front are definitely the classes of the field in terms of lap times, aren't they? Definitely.
Indeed, it's quite a race we have here today between the Peugeot and the Renault, front-wheel drive cars as well at Suzuka. So as they're going for the S's here, obviously as soon as you go past that sort of 100% adhesion level, the car sort of goes wide, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So
watches wide, especially front-wheel drive cars, isn't it?
Yes, so they're going to have to be very careful, because obviously they're going to want to be pushing and getting the fastest laps they can, but push a little bit too much, I'm going to be losing tenths here and there. But Glasgow now 1.4 and still going down, but looks like he's had a pretty good corner there as he comes up to the hairpin here at Suzuka. But we've got a gap of a 1.3 now between P1 and P2.
So there's potential battle developing between Ian and Don, because Don's only 1.6 seconds behind, and we've got 15 minutes of this remaining. So you know, it's not a hopeless given up case. It's something could still happen back there. I think everybody else is too far apart, unless there's huge mistakes made and they get beached in the gravel. There's not much going to change from 5th downwards. But the top four may have New Order. That was a band, New Order, wasn't it? 1980s. Simon's been asking me whether that was a Paul Simon song that I sang earlier. No, it wasn't. It was a poor attempt at me trying to sound like I'm patriotic American, and an impression of Jimi Hendrix doing, you know, Star Spangled Banner. That's what that was. So, and you don't have to pay for this. This is free.
That is beautiful. Well, looks as though Follow Me has had a bit of pity for Poland, because he's quite a quick dude. It looks like he's struggling somewhat here at Suzuka, but using these, I struggle with the front wheel drive cars, and especially on a track that demands you to feather that throttle. It is sometimes it can take a few laps to get used to the track before you get to your sort of usual race pace.
It's a track that needs a good change of direction in a car, doesn't it? So the front wheel drive doesn't help with that. So you like when you're approaching the S's and stuff, you've got to be able to squiggle around. You know, you can't sort of do fast sweepers. It's fast changes of direction.
Oh,
what's happened?
I think Don's had connection issues there.
Oh, it's disappeared. Oh no.
I've been having a lot of problems with connection. This is actually the 4th time I've tried streaming this. The first 3 times it kept crashing after going live. So it's good. It's good. It's good we're still here. It's good we're still here.
Yeah, we've lasted, well, you know, nearly 20 minutes, so that's good. That is good.
Oh, Gleska back on the bumper, so he's made a second back up to Dougie in P1.
Oh, he's approaching. He's got the slipstream. Approaching 130R. If you can control this, he might be able to take him on the start-finish straight into the casino triangle. Late apex, so he can get a good drive, so he can keep in touch.
Dougie with a pretty good exit.
Yeah.
But he's in that slipstream range. You can see it coming down now. Look, that's a 10th gone. Another half a 10th.
Pouring at the Renault.
Oh, he just needs to be side by side. There he goes. He's made the move.
Block pass. Excellent. So Glasgow's in first. Can Doug respond? They're quite squirrely, aren't they?
Yes.
Glasgow likes the sort of the late apex approach, doesn't he? Which I suppose that works quite well with these front-wheel drive cars, because you're not washing so wide then, are you? You're getting a good... You can get the power down earlier, down the straight.
Yeah, well, this is it. You need to be as straight as possible in these to sort of get all the power down. Whereas with the rear-wheel drive cars, you can give it a little bit more, because slip angle is always a driver's friend.
Control the attitude of the car and the throttle instead of just spinning up the wheels.
Indeed. So Dougie now swapping places with Gleska, taking P1. We've got just over 10 minutes of racing left to go, and Dougie well and truly within chance, not quite able to get it on the side, but just showing his nose, saying I'm going to be making a move soon. We'll see whether he's got a good run down here. There's probably a good three good overtaking opportunities here, providing you get a good run, slipstream and get side by side.
Yep. Well, let's see, you've got the beginning of the S's like you did before, after turn 1. You've got Spoon and Hairpin are both quite good diving up the inside places, and then I suppose technically the approach to Casino Triangle as opposed to Square, Casino Triangle, that hairpin at the end of the lap, it's possible, but you know, difficult.
Yeah.
Difficult. Oh, he's right there though. Doug, he's right there. He's not letting Glasgow get away. He's not giving up.
This is incredible racing between Dougie and Glasgow. Still 0.3 of a second, which seems to be the usual time, sort of in between 3 to 4 tenths, is the position I see quite often between drivers that are racing together with sort of similar pace. And again, obviously, you just need a good exit, good amount of slipstream, and get that car side by side, and then you have got that position into the next corner. But let's see whether GLR Racer can make that happen, as he is driving from America today with his CSL Elite.
Oh, he's got one of them, is he? Very nice. Very nice. Lovely.
Hey, Coyote.
Oh. Not a Coyote. Hello, hello. Mr. Marmite was saying that him and this track do not mix. Doesn't like this track.
Yeah, well, Don's just rejoined as well, so connection issues most certainly becoming a thing with Gran Turismo Sport. I think it is because of the arrival of Gran Turismo 7, but nevertheless we must continue. Hopefully he can get back out on track for the final 8 minutes. And 0.732, just within slipstream range, but bringing it in. That's half a tenth gone. That's a tenth down that straight, and another half a tenth, and another half. Oh, he's got a really good run on Glasgow here. We're going to 4 tenths of a second. Heavy on the brakes as he comes up to the penultimate corners here at Suzuka for round 5 of the HHTCR in pursuit of the Peugeot, driven by Glasgow. And now 0.4 of a second separating P1 and P2 with just over 8 minutes of racing left to go, and hard on the brakes into P1. Can he make it happen, Roo? What do we think?
Well, I mean, it's easier to... I've always found it, even with my poor skills, it's easier to chase than it is to lead. You've got a marker to judge everything you do against. So, you know, he could bide his time till the last couple of laps. He's there. I mean, it's not like he's right there. So it's all up for grabs. It's all possible. Dodefinitely. I think basically what I'm saying is yes, he can.
Yes.
He does a good job on that corner. He said, I thought he was going to have a go then, but it's not really a place you can get past. Not without damaging both cars. Oh no, he couldn't do it on the brakes into hairpin. Getting the power down. That's a Renault engine, hoping it doesn't blow up.
Two great gentlemen drivers, says Neil Wright in chat, and he is most certainly right. We are on board with the number 14 Army veteran chasing down Glasgow, raining down heavy artillery as he is in a good slipstream here. Not quite able to make the move. Can he get a good run out, keep within slipstream range, and get a good run as they come up to the penultimate corner here at Suzuka? Hard on the brakes. Can he get a good run out and maximise track width? That might be a penalty, we'll see.
I was just thinking he cut that corner, but that ended up on the grass, so he lost a lot of traction as well. Oh, so close as well. That was so close. Glasgow's really ringing it out going around that corner, just touching the brakes as he goes in. You know, Doug's catching him, taking it in a little bit faster, but not enough. You know, it's not enough of an overspeed to be able to get up the inside. This is good stuff, isn't it? This is good stuff. I don't want to forget there's other people in this race, though. It's just they're all on their own, bless them. I was watching Falconer earlier a few laps ago, and he had a bit of a moment. Ended up on the gravel and having to come back on again. But he's so far ahead of Thorsten that it didn't matter. But there are other people here doing a great job. Let's not forget them. Power Maxi, Falconer, Pete from Poland, who's following me 1978, and Ian in third, who is another lonely 14 seconds behind the two that we're watching. Oh, he's down the outside. Can he do the switch back?
Incredible driving between these two.
Well defended by Glasgow. He put his car in just the right place, but he's got to run up the inside. He's got to run up the inside.
Side by side, out on the brakes, clipping that apex. Incredible driving here between the Peugeot and Renault Group 4s. Exiting that corner, make sure they get all of that power down. 0.2, it's going down into the tenths of a second. Is he going to make that move? We've got just over 4 minutes of racing left to go. Glasgow going defensive and making sure he gets that racing line as they go through a very fast section there up to a heavy braking section. Can Dougie get a better run out this time? Keep on the tail of Glasgow in P1, 0.3 of a second. It looks like he's got a pretty good run here, Roo. 0.2 of a second, 1.8, 1.6, 1.4, 1.3. Glasgow going defensive as they come up to turn 1 at Suzuka. Dougie on the racing line.
But he's close enough. Can he get up the inside? Oh, no! He just slipped a wheel onto the grass.
Beautifully handled, still within slipstream range, and pulling him back in as they enter the S's.
He got a much tidier. He took the casino triangle much better this time, didn't he? So he could keep right behind Glasgow all the way down the back straight. But again, Glasgow's a master of defence, keeping it. And then what's so unfortunate for Doug, putting a wheel on the grass, but as you say, he held it beautifully. These two guys are doing great. Very impressive stuff. It really is.
Well, certainly, and I do believe that Glasgow still has the fastest lap. I'm just going to have a quick little...
Yeah, 2:08.973. It's registering as the fastest lap. 2:08. He's gained a little bit. He's pulled a little bit away from Doug. We've got a Gemma Stephen in the chat saying hello to you, Mr. Matt.
Well, hello, Gemma Stephen.
Oh, Keith up direct.
Welcome to the carnage. Just out of slipstream range, but I think he's got a better run out than Glasgow, and he's just pulling him back in. We've got the power between the two different makes here as they enter that fast left-hand corner.
That's 130R. The famous 130R. In Formula 1 cars, you're doing 180, 185 miles per hour, around there. Insane speeds. Well, they have... I guess this is the final lap, because we've got 1 minute 40 seconds odd left, and they've started what is probably going to be their final lap. So
indeed.
It's
well,
now or never. Can Doug?
Quick little bit of love to Maxi and Falconer and Peter from legendary Poland and Ian, and we will jump back on board as we enter the final 80 seconds of racing between the Renault and Peugeot. What do you think, Roo? What are we going to end up with? Who's going to take gold today at Suzuka for round 5 of the HHTCR?
Well, Glasgow's he's holding all the cards at the moment. He's got a little bit of a gap. Doug's not close enough as it is, but will Doug go for a last-minute do-or-die banzai attack? Will he be able to do Valentino Rossi and get him on the last corner? I know that's motorbikes, but that's what Rossi used to do. He used to play with the people, and you let them overtake him, and then he'd get them again on the last corner.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if you know you can do it, if you know you can get side by side, if you know you've got the pace, it's all about sort of picking and choosing your time to attack, isn't it?
Yep, and the block pass. I mean, it's a classic motorbike overtaking. It's what Glesger did to Doug. The block pass, you put your car there, and then they can't be there, so... It's kind of like a sort of a slightly more polite version of what Max and Lewis keep trying to do to each other. Theirs isn't so much a block pass as a punch in the face pass.
Indeed. Well, it should be a good one on Sunday for F1.
Looks an interesting track, doesn't it?
Well, we've got 5 seconds of racing left to go, so
time's up.
Final lap. It looks as though just that slipstream range as well as they come up to the penultimate corner underneath the Yokohama sign. Into the right.
Will he get in there?
Absolutely send it.
No, it's not.
Last lap, says Jack.
Commentator's curse is going to blow up as he goes across the line. No. Well, that was a superb race. Glesger moving through the field, taking position after position. Super
Indeed.
Duper.
Absolute incredible effort from Glesger and a well-deserved P1 there. And also an incredible race from Dougie.
Ian's just crossed the line for third.
Ian in P3 taking bronze today. Peter from Poland. Hey.
Entering the casino triangle. Not the Bermuda Triangle, so hopefully he won't disappear. And
giving us a flash. What a legend. That's what I like to see. Falconer next to Cross. Another absolute legend. There he goes, giving us a flash. What an absolute legend. Do we get a flash from Maxi as we bring this session to a close?
Maxi's just going around 130R. He'll be there in a minute. He will get the finish though, which is nice. It's nice that they all get a chance to finish and don't stop halfway around the track. It's good.
Indeed,
I like that.
Indeed. Power Maxi
rally driving
sending it through the final corner like a boss. Thorsten, the God of Thunder, crossing the start-finish line.
I'm going to drift. Excellent job. Oh, well, I think they all did a fantastic job. They all and condolences to Don for disappearing. Not his fault. He had issues, and of course he couldn't rejoin because Gran Turismo Sport doesn't let you once the race is on. If you're not in it at the beginning, you can't join it halfway through. Such a shame. Such a shame. So, what do you think, Matt? What's your sum up of that race?
I think that was an incredible battle between Glesger and Dougie, the American Army veteran, putting up an incredible fight there. I think especially the two different types of car classes, they do make a big difference, and I found this out the other day. I've only sort of just really got back into Gran Turismo properly, so driving all these different cars and driving just the front wheel drive cars, they're not the same, you know, and the different tracks, they perform differently. So having some cars that, you know, the Peugeot looked like it was performing a little bit better within regards to, you know, the suspension settling and all this kind of thing, but, you know, I don't know. It's at the end of the day, it was an incredible fight between them both, very entertaining, and Ian with a cheeky P3.
Very clean. I just was so. I'm always so impressed when our guys make a mistake and they get the place back, or they'll like Glesger did. He waited because he knew he'd punted him a little bit. So he waited so that he could get back on the track, keep the place, because it wouldn't have been fair to go past him. Superb. I love that. That's just, it's so honourable, you know. I always remember Sterling Moss, because Sterling Moss is probably the most honourable racing driver there ever was. He never won the World Championship, but he lost it by a point And the reason he lost it by a point was in one of the races, his main competitor was disqualified. And he went to the stewards and taught them out to disqualify him, saying he hadn't done anything wrong. And those points that his competitor got back gave him the World Championship instead of Sterling Moss. But Moss wanted to do it the right way. Superb. Just so honourable. I like that. That's great. I think it's something that's sadly missing in a lot of racing, professional racing these days. But you know, c'est la vie, as they say in Le France.
C'est la vie.
So ist das Leben, as they say in Deutschland.
Well, I think we should be tread to some more incredible action now.
More action. We've got the super fast man people, the ones coming from. We've got Moomin Papa from Moo Land, Hugh Hattrick from Hugh Hattrick Land, Bob from Bristol Land, Guinness Mikey from Guinness Land, JD from JD Land, Neil the Seal, Scotty Senior, and very quick little Todd JJ, also known as Vin Petrol, who
Vin
can
Petrol.
win the title this day, this evening, this time. It can happen, and you'll all be watching it live on YouTube.
Indeed. Well, it's always a pleasure to see Scotty do what he does best, and I hope that we have some incredible action between all of the drivers out on track today. It'll be very exciting. Opening lap.
I was going to say the times look very close, but some of the times look close. Jack and Scotty's times, no, they don't. They're close to each other, but they're ahead. They're like a second faster than everybody else. So you know that's going to be. It's going to be another. How many laps did we get? 15 laps, something like that. How many laps did we get last time? I've forgotten already. I didn't even look.
Not sure.
I don't know.
Well, Hugh Hattrick still representing KFC, and Mikey representing Guinness, of course. Hope he's had a couple of Guinnesses tonight, and he treats himself to a Guinness after tonight's race. And GLR JD
14
in the
laps.
SpaceX Audi with a beautiful power slide there as he exits the S's. Moomin Papa in the Peugeot.
Oh, Richie's put 14 laps. Hold on, I just looked myself. Yes, so we've got 14, and I mean with that extra second, maybe we'll get 15 laps. Do you reckon?
Maybe so. Maybe so. 14 laps according to Richie.
Yeah. So you know, anything can happen in the next half hour, as I used to say many years ago. And I'll let you sing Stingray if you want to. Stingray. No, I'll sing it. Stingray, Stingray.
Right, I'm just going to grab myself a water before it starts, and
Yes.
I'll be back in 10 seconds.
Okie dokie. Everyone, count 5, 4. No, that's Thunderbirds, isn't it? It's not Stingray. And of course, there's the old black and white one, the very first one, Fireball XL5, which had an alien that said, "Welcome home." Ah, yes, those are the days. Super Mario Nation. So, what's Jerry's? Stingray, yes. See, Simon knows. He knows these things, even though he's only young. He's only like 14, 2014, 3014, something like that. Very old. Yes, what a race that was indeed, Glasgow. It absolutely was. You all did a fantastic job, and carving through the field like that, absorbing the pressure from the front, dealing the pressure from behind. Yeah, you were there with your big tartan hat, and your claymore going, "Get out my wee," in
Your boy's
some
back.
accent like that. Who? And the Mad Star is back in the house.
The Mad Star. No Hood Mad Star.
Monsters.
GLR Seal joining us in the black and gold. Guinness.
Sportsmanship is what got me into this. Sir Richie Johnson, great crowd of lads. That's from Glasgow. Glasgow. Where you from, Glasgow? A colloquial way of saying everyone tries to be clean except you. What, Elbow's hat trick? He can be very clean when he's got someone talking in his ear. If you watch the stream from a few weeks ago, Three's a Crowd, where he came 8th, but he should have been 4th, but got punted off. He got punted off, actually, genuinely, he got punted off, rather than punting somebody else off. And he was very, very good. He just gets excited. That's all it is. He gets excited. We'll see a centre move on turn 1. Jack wins today, he wins the overall. Well, do people still wear overalls?
Well, maybe some people do tonight, but we haven't really given much, VQS Jack joining the party, driving the opposite way like an absolute boss, and going through Demo like the ghost he is, because when you're driving with VQS Jack, he just disappears.
Teenagers. What is he up to? Can you do Suzuki reversed? Is that one possibility on the game? I can't remember.
I'm not sure. Everything should be a reverse option because it's a whole new track.
I like his wheels. The wheels are nice, even though they're red.
Great car, great livery. He's definitely got this car down. I was actually watching his replays of Group 4 Race B last week, and I was using his Ghost actually to follow his time, because he was actually first in the world for the first 4 or 5 days on that track.
Excellent.
Excellent indeed. We all try and beat him.
It's not going to happen though, is it? I mean, you can't even punt him off because you never get close enough to actually hit him. It's just like, I'll have you, and then he's gone. It's like Jim Clark. It's just gone on a different racetrack. You might as well be phased out because you're never going to catch him anyway. It's crazy.
Indeed.
I'm calling it through.
Damo in the rocking chair racing.
What's this? What's that?
The 99 Scirocco. Just passed his test.
Oh, I see.
Just look at his
Gold and
car.
black of Neil Seal.
The Guardian. GoPro. Powered by Linux.
Good old Linux. Everyone is on the track, apparently. So Keith Updike, who Keith will own you in the chat, is saying he's calling a Hugh Hat-trick victory by 3 seconds. Yes, I agree. Hugh Hat-trick is going to suddenly find that he's the fastest driver in the world because he will have eaten the KFC and it will have powered him to victory.
That's it. Well, if you eat a KFC before you compete in the HHTCR, you gain a minimum of a 10% speed increase.
Well, it's fart power, isn't it? It's like having a jet engine.
This
or a rocket.
is it. Yes. Yes.
That's why there's 4 exhausts on the Scirocco. 2 of them from the engine, 2 of them are from other thrust.
Well, I think Hugh Hat-trick might take a cheeky win today. Who knows? Who knows?
Well, Jack's just gone straight up the inside of Moomin and then done a 360 with the handbrake just because he can. It's just mad.
Mikey with the fastest lap though, so he might be putting up a pretty good performance. I remember when we did Season 1, Round 1, if you remember that fateful day, when we did co-coms for the first time, and Mikey put up a very good performance. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do today.
Indeed. Well, I think there's going to be, I mean, we had a great race 1, split 2, so I think with these nutters, it's going to be another fantastic race. It's great that we've got two people, you know, that can fight each other at the front, Jack and Scotty. That keeps things interesting there, but everybody else is also very competitive and close, so who knows what could happen. What is that mad boy doing? Blue and red, I mean, what's that about? Red tyres, it's like someone wearing, I don't know, a red dress, isn't it? It's just showing off. That's what it is. Just showing off. Jack Balding Racing, and they're off.
No
2-minute penalty
control
for
starts
doing
for
practice
Jack.
starts in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the middle of whatever that is, the road. Turn 12. That deserves a name, Turn 12. I mean, it's a long, sweepy... Oh, it's got one. It's 200R. Idiot. God. It's alright. 200R. That's what it's called.
That's what he's doing. He's waiting for Scotty. Here we go. We've got a little bit of a prequel to what we're about to be exposed to, as we've got Jack now in pursuit of Scotty in the infamous lime green. And it was a pleasure watching Scotty now going side by side, letting Jack know that he is aware of his presence. And I do think we are going to see a fight, indeed, in identical cars. I think we're going to be treated to a good one. I think Scotty most certainly wants the win over Jack today. Jack has got somewhat of a challenge and a bit of a competition with regards to if he wins today, he wins the championship. So that's somewhat of a goal for him. We'll see what he can do. Does go karting in real life. I think doing that and getting on here. Scotty.
Didn't Scotty? He races bikes, didn't he? But didn't he do kart racing as well? I'm trying to think what he put in. When you go on his channel, he's got like a little blurb about what he's up to and what he did and why. I know he did motorcycle racing. He's got that kind of look in his eye, you know, that mad insanity. You've got to be insane to be a motorcycle racer. Cars, at least you've got a bit of metal around you. Yeah, I'm not. I love bikes and I love riding bikes, but I would never want to race them because I value my bones. You know what I mean?
Yes, well, I ride bikes. I think sometimes I don't value my bones, and I do. I've never ever been silly, but I can't explain the feeling you get from a motorbike.
No, you can't.
Even with the latest Ferrari, you're just not getting the level of adrenaline that you get from a motorbike. You're just not.
I was on my 250 that I used to ride, you know, when I passed my test. I had a 250 Kawasaki KLR 250, and you know, it's not a fast bike. I think I maxed it out, ducking right down onto the tank once with a bit of a tailwind at 90. Obviously, not on a public road, officer, but at least that's what I'm saying, and no one can prove otherwise. But the thing, I was riding back from a ride at night, and it was raining and all this kind of stuff, and I remember seeing the rain go past between me and the clocks of the bike, and I had this kind of like chill feeling, almost like fear, a bit like when you stand on a very high place and vertigo's happening. And I thought, oh my god, I'm so exposed, like as a fear response. And then I went, yippee, I'm so exposed. It's that raw nature you don't get in a car. Everything's just completely raw, and you're connected to the world in a way that you're not in a car. Cars are more disconnected, even, like you say, even like the most amazing cars. And that was the first time I'd sort of thought about what it was that made bikes just so special. So special. But the idea of coming off and hitting the lamppost, that is a bit scary, I've got to say. Yeah.
Well, we need to say hello to the infamous Flash Dagger, who's made an appearance today, saying hello in chat. And no, you haven't missed the race. You missed the first race, but you're about to see the pro lobby, and we are most certainly going to be treat to some action today as the race is now beginning for season 1, round 5 at Suzuka for the HHTCR. Jack Balding in P1. Let me get my keyboard as we are now ready to rock and roll. Seal in P3 next to JD. We've got Damo in P6. And we have got that green. Jack, 0 traction control. It looks like he actually has got a bit of a better getaway there. Seal in P3, not quite able to get side by side as Scotty as they make their way up to turn 1. Scotty able to get in front of Jack through turn 1. Seal on the inside line, maybe able to capitalize on another position. GLRJD in P4. And I'm not sure whether we've got any more action going on in the back. Well, let's have a little jump on P5. We have Hugh Hattrick in P6 going side by side with Mikey. A little bit of a love tap there between the Volkswagen and Peugeot as lap 1 of Suzuka is underway. Hugh Hattrick still on the inside line. Damo in P7 as they make their way up to the quick break section. Make sure you clip that apex. Hugh Hattrick running a little bit wide there. Mikey on the inside line. Mikey looking to get a good run out. Maybe able to take that position back. And Moomin in pursuit of Damo in P7. But let's just jump back up into P2 where we've still got incredible action with Scotty in P1. Rue Jack hot on the heels of Scotty as the race continues, and lap 1 is nearly underway. Seal in P3 with the fellow GLRJD in P4. Scotty just able to hold on to Jack, showing his nose there as they continue to work their way through Suzuka. What do you think to this one, Rue?
Well, I've been watching while you were going through the field. They're alongside. It's just, but he backed off a 130R. JD up the outside. Can he make it stick? Yes, he's made it stick for 3rd position. Neil the Seal's just lost a position there to JD. Super duper. Yeah, sorry, the battle at the front, you were getting trying to look at Scotty trying to break the toe again. He likes that move, doesn't he? Every track we go to he does the same. Jack was basically right up his rear end. Going around the outside. Jack's off the track and he's lost a position. That was a bit of argy-bargy going on there. JD up into 2nd. Jack won't be happy about that. I don't think it'll take him too long to get that past, though.
Well, we've only got just over 2 minutes of racing. We've got 27 minutes of racing left to go. Seal now in P4 as he is now in pursuit of the legendary VQS Jack. Scotty in P1 with a half a second advantage over JD, but JD within slipstream range will fly his way up to P1 perhaps, as that half a second gap was just closing down there. But let's jump on board with we look like Moomin and Damo.
Back at the back there, Moomin and Damo.
Yes.
We've got another battle. Mikey and Hugh are in their own little private war, and then you've got the top 4. Scotty's got himself a little bit of a gap there, 0.8 of a second. It's not huge, but it's over JD. There we go. I told you it wouldn't take him long.
Jack on the inside line. What a beautiful moment to just show his nose there. 0 contact between the Scirocco and the Audi there, but that is going to have slowed both cars down for both of them to get out there, and given Neil the Dark Seal in his black and gold Audi a run, and is well and truly up the rear end of the fellow Audi of GLRJD. Hugh Hattrick with the position of Mikey. Mikey well and truly, well, what 0.4 of a second, 0.288 now. He's got a very good run out there for the Ultimate Corner of Suzuka. 25 minutes of racing left to go. Lap 3 underway. Is Mikey going to show his nose? It looks like he's got a pretty good run here. He's gone for the inside line. Hugh Hattrick not able to defend. Can Mikey hold onto that line? Very late braking.
Late braking, but it just wasn't. He couldn't get it to stop. He tried to hold the position. He was defensive coming into the Casino Triangle, and then that, as you say, that compromised him going around the final corner and on down the straight, and allowed Mikey to get his nose up the inside. Great move, and you know, all credit to Hugh to try and keep the place, but he just couldn't get it to stop. Couldn't get it to stop, and it looks like Damo's pulled a bit of a lead over Moomin at the back, so they're not fighting anymore. And you've got Mikey now chasing after Neil the Seal. JD, Jack still 1.4 seconds behind Scotty, so Scotty's kept the gap. Let's see if Jack's got a penalty. Got a penalty, and he ended up on the grass, so he's now even further behind. Somebody was saying that they reckoned Scotty would pull a sneaky win. He might just do that. He might just do that.
Well, it was a 1.5. We're now at a 1.8, but we do still have 24 minutes of racing left to go. Only 6 minutes down. Plenty of time for an attack to be made by all drivers, but Jack is most certainly pulling away from JD, so we've got a good fight between P3 for a podium position, with Neil the Dark Seal, who looks like he's had a pretty good run there. A little bit too wide though, it appears, as they come up to the penultimate section here at Suzuka.
Is Jack driving angry because he's obviously trying to catch up? He's 1.8 seconds behind, and he's also got the half a second penalty. And I just wonder whether he's sort of like,
Mikey on the inside, not able to quite get side by side with Neil the Seal there, after running a little bit wide through the third to last corner here at Suzuka for round 5 of the HHTCR. But Mikey working his way up to 5th position, exchanging places with Hugh Hattrick, now in P6 in the KFC mobile, just in the back of the camera shot there. And we have JD. Just want to keep an eye on the fight for P4 here, and then of course we have podium pack led by JD in P3, and we have a 1 second gap between him and Jack in P2, and a 1.7 second gap separating Scotty and Jack. So we'll see exactly how that progresses.
Where is this penalty line?
I think they just have to
is it one of those where
let
you
go of
lift
the
off?
accelerator, yeah.
Ah, gotcha.
I believe so, I may be wrong, but I'm sure Richie will tell us in a moment.
Indeed. They're all drinking Guinness and whiskey to celebrate their race.
Oh, whiskey.
Scotty's definitely he's keeping the gap. And both of them are pulling away from JD slowly. It's like they've gained half a second in the last lap. Scotty's got the fastest lap, but that was Jack's personal best. So, let's see.
Well, Mikey in slipstream range again, 3.66, 3.5, 3.3, 3.1, 2.9. Is he going to make a move though, is the question. not into turn 1 here at Suzuka, but well and truly in range for attack against his fellow teammate, GLR Seal.
Neil made a bit of a mistake there in the S's. He ran a bit wide. So as he was saying, if you plant the accelerator too hard trying to turn in, and I think that's what he did, he washed wide. So that's brought Mikey a little bit closer, going round Dunlop towards Degner. Round Degner 1, Degner 2, approaching the hairpin. Will he be able to do anything down the inside? Is there a dive available to him? Diving down the inside of hairpin. Not close enough, but he has closed the gap a little bit. Mind you, that's the concertina effect, isn't it? It looks like you're getting closer, but it's just everyone's braking and slowing down, yeah?
Indeed, well, movement in P8, 1.9 seconds separating himself from the Peugeot 2P7 of Damo in the Scirocco. Hugh Patrick in P6. Nearly a 3-second gap between Mikey and Damo, and we've obviously got a fight for P4 there, and JD Whiskey sort of in a well, no man's land really, sort of not really under pressure, not putting anyone under pressure, just able to sort of race, and obviously we have Jack looking to take gold today to win the HHTCR. But we'll see whether we can do that, as we have now just gone over the third of a waymark for the HHTCR round 5 at Suzuka.
Jack's been reeling Scotty in. He's sort of got his head down, and he's got an appreciable gap to JD behind him now, and he's been reeling him in. But then Scotty also just made a mistake going into the chicane there at the end, so he lost about half a second there, about 0.3. So this is still on. There's still more than 18 minutes left to go. But Jack's got an even bigger penalty. 1.9 second penalty now. I missed exactly what that was for. I was on Scotty. So he's reeling him in, but he's got a big penalty. Big penalty.
Well, let's have a little look, shall we? Let's just go on board with Jack and see exactly what we've got going on here. Looking very smooth so far. That gap has most certainly decreased as well, though. He's nearly a second up the road with regards to time between them two. Scotty with a good run out of there.
Yeah, he's doing some consistently fast times, is Jack. 2:08.2, 2:08.3. That's the last 2 laps. It's just unfortunate for him that he's got these. It's quite a substantial penalties, nearly 2 seconds. So possibly overcooked it and straight lined the chicane. I don't know. But he's got a big gap back to JD, who's got a decent gap back to Neil the Seal, who's got himself a penalty as well. He's got 0.9 of a second, which will mean that Mikey will go past him.
Yes, Mikey in a sense is already in P4 with regards to the 0.9 second of a second penalty there for Neil the Dark Seal, and we have 1.7 seconds separating P4 to the podium P3 of Whiskey. Now only a 1.6 second though, and the gap between Whiskey and Jack is 4 seconds now. So Scotty and Jack are well and truly getting their heads down. Scotty's showing absolutely zero mercy to Jack. If Jack wants to win this one, he's most certainly going to have to get down, keep it smooth, and maximise on those lap times. So 1.2 seconds now separating P1 to P2. We'll see exactly how we progress from here on out, Roo.
We've got Jack in. Somehow Jack's typing as well as driving. It's just someone's just Richie's just asked him, why are you in the chat? He should be driving. Oh, he's just far too good at this. It's so annoying. Oh dear. So we've got Diaco saying that he prefers the penalty burn-off system for the EDTM. You've got oh dear. Glasgow saying you can abuse track limits and worry about it afterwards. So that's a bit like that old saying that it's better to ask forgiveness than permission. I suppose. Oh dear. Track limits. This is why modern racing circuits need to have grass everywhere. Just put grass, not fake grass, real grass. No tarmac, no gravel, just grass. And then, when you go on the grass, what happens is that you get dirty tyres and you have a penalty for, going off the track. Instead of a steward deciding that you lose your time or, I don't know, something like that. Phew.
Well, yeah. Mikey, 0.5 of a second now in pursuit of Seal. Seal most certainly seems to have got his head down. And may hold on to P4 as we've just gone over the halfway mark now, Rue. I'm just going to have a quick look at the timings. We've got the fastest lap by VQS Jack with a 2:08.268. Scotty with a 2:08.330.
Apparently some Flash Dagger in the chat was saying that Jack cut the entire chicane, so that's why he got the bigger penalty. So we missed it, the chat didn't. This is why we have our chat challenge, you see.
Chat challenge indeed. 2 seconds separating P7 from P8 as Moomin continues to chase Damo in his Peugeot, and P6 still occupied by number 6 in the KFC mobile.
Elbows hat-trick, and he didn't take anybody off. I was watching him from afar, from the front. I was watching him, and there was, side-by-side action, but there was no smashing people into the weeds, which is all good. He's learning, bless him, he's learning. We keep coaching him, teaching him, telling him what he should be doing, and he gets better every day. That's good to know. Oh dear. So there's a bit of a fight going. You've got Mikey and Neil the Seal, but they're not that far behind JD for third. So, I mean, okay, Neil the Seal's got this 0.9 of a second penalty, but both of them could, as they're not fighting each other, both of them could possibly reel in third position and gain a place off of JD. So, yeah, what's happening, eh?
Yeah, well, still 0.3 of a second. It looks like Seal is going defensive as they make their way over the start finish here at Suzuka, coming up to turn 1. Seal on the inside line, conceding that penalty, not able to hold Mikey off in the Volkswagen. It looked as though Mikey was just sort of playing the long game there, making sure he was always just behind Seal there, and then taking the position when he had to concede that penalty. So Jack with a 1.9 second penalty to concede. I don't think he's going to concede that, because I think he's trying to chase Scotty down. He's already 0.8 of a second up from earlier, now 0.9.93. It's going down. He may very well, he just needs 0.2, and then he's in slipstream range of Scotty, but Scotty is most certainly putting up a fight. And if Jack wants it, he's most certainly going to have to fight for it here today for round 5 of the HHTCR. And 11 minutes left to go.
Very close times on these two. They're both in the low to 208s, low to mid. Jack's slightly faster, so he is reeling it in. As you say, 0.9 of a second now, 0.8 of a second. But it's still a good close race. Still. Dico saying aliens can drive and chat at the same time.
Yeah, well, I think it's if you're on a straight, you can press well, saying that he probably doesn't do it, but you can press options and it sort of drives the car for you for a little bit if you're on a straight. Yeah, so it means if you need to do something, or it's quite clever actually. If you need to if you need to sort the kids, or you need to go get a drink, go to the loo or whatever, it sort of drives the car for you. It's slower, but it does it. It does it. I'm not saying that's what he did though.
I have no idea.
He probably didn't need to. He's probably able to drive on a straight and text us all in chat.
He's probably got this. He's looking out the corner of his eye at the.
0.770. We're in slipstream range. 0.738709. We're into the 0.6 now. He's in slipstream range of Scotty in P1. Can he take P1 today away from Scotty, as we are now in the final 10 minutes, the final third of racing here for the HHTCR Round 5 at Suzuka? Can he keep himself within slipstream range? And if he can, he will most certainly pull Scotty in. But can Scotty keep Jack off in P2? Or will Jack make Scotty concede? I'm certainly going to think he's going to fight for it. He needs to fight for P1 here as the race continues with just over 9 minutes of racing left to go.
They're all very right. So this isn't so much a request, but someone's saying push push. So I think we need to get you to say push push to move.
Push it.
And you've got Richie shouting in the chat with capitals, being told off for doing it. Stop screaming! But of course he's putting him in caps, like huge questions on his interviews, so that we can see them. And Richie is agreeing with us that we may get a 15-lap race at this pace. So yes, push push. So
push.
They're also wondering whether texting while driving, is that a race ban? Is it some kind of point system on the license?
I don't remember reading it in the HHTCR rulebook, so.
Oh dear. So we have gone from the back.
Look at this, 0.2 seconds. Separating him. He might even go for he's gone defensive. Scotty, Jack on the outside line as he makes his way up to turn one. A little bit of contact. I don't know if there was contact. No, he's going for the cut back.
Got the cut back. He's got the cut back.
Scotty taking the old switcheroo through turn one there.
We are going to have 8 minutes of madness. We're going to have 8 minutes of madness. He's caught him up and he's having it. So, at the back we have Moomin Papa. In 7th we have Bob, aka Damo, who's just started to cut the grass a little bit as I was looking at him there. And we have Mr. Hattrick, 7 seconds up the road. Neil the Seal is 2 seconds ahead of Mr. Hattrick. 1.8 seconds ahead is Mikey, who is chasing down, or trying to chase down JD, who's in 3rd. And then we have the epic Titanic battle of the two ridiculously good drivers at the front. Scotty and Jack. Jack is absolutely not taking that penalty. They will pry the penalty out of his cold, dead fingers. I believe that's the phrase on the film. Yeah,
well, there's just no need to really concede it. At the end of the day, he's fighting for position here. I realise what he's doing. The Gran Turismo Sport penalty system is ridiculous. So let's just have a proper fight and see whether Jack can take P1 away from Scotty. And it seems as though we're getting a few of the old switcheroos between both of the drivers. Scotty going defensive as they come up to the left-hand corner. Can Jack get the inside line?
Oh, Scotty! Did he get a little tag? Was that a slight tag from him? Oh, he's tagged him back. Oh, they're getting argy-bargy now.
We've got a fight on our hands now. 6 minutes of racing left to go. He's in slipstream range, Scotty, now beginning to pull Jack back in with the power of slipstream. Jack trying to wriggle out of slipstream as much as he can, and now he was just conceding his penalty, so now he's beginning to concede his penalty as well. He's got 6 minutes to concede 1.2 seconds and to take P1. Is it going to happen?
These guys keep sort of
Oh!
what's going on there?
Oh, we've had an off there from
wow.
Jack after an incredible performance.
We'll have to do a bit of a replay at the end of this, I think, to have a look at that, because they were both tagging each other. I mean, you know, he's got someone right up his Neil the Seal's right up his chuff as well, and they've both got penalties. They've both still got penalties to serve. So Mikey's in third, JD's in second, Scott is off out in the front. Scotty, I mean, there was going through 130R. Scotty, was he tagged at the back to drive him wide onto the grass? Then they were tagging
Hugh Hattrick just took P5 from Seal.
Oh, Neil, really? Did Neil take his penalty, did he? And
I believe so.
Everyone's got penalties.
Jack is now penalty free as well, and he's got 4.4 minutes to take position back from Hugh Hattrick, who is within slipstream range. Let's see what he can do here as he now hunts down the creator of HHTCR.
Through the S's. Well, they tried. And we've been reminded to save the replay. We've got people saying, "Oh damn, it's going to be for the marshals." It's like, oh god, I hate the marshals thing.
Well, it's got to be diplomatic. There's got to be rules, otherwise.
Well, we implemented rules. We're pretty fair the way we, you know, the way we what's that word? Not implement, enforce them and apply them. So, you know, we'll look at it, see what happens. We'll look at all those laps where they were popping each other in and out, off and on. Oh, speaking of can't go side by side to the S's, Jack is not going side by side, but very close. He's doing the switchbacks. He's doing switchbacks on Hugh Hattrick. He's attacking him. He's letting him know he's there. Completely different lines going through that last but 1S. Round Dunlop. He's got a good slipstream. He's on the outside, but he had a nice wide. Oh!
I don't think there was any contact there, but Hugh with the switchback, side by side again, fighting it out, giving Seal a bit of a chance to be able to take position away from Hugh and or Jack. Jack on the inside line, and it looks like he's made it happen on the KFC mobile, but again, that's now brought Seal back up in the pack, and now Hugh Hattrick is in danger of losing his P5 and going back to P Steve there. Running wide, can Seal get a good exit here? Seal late on the brakes, late apex, waiting to get on that gas. He's only 0.3 seconds of a second away, and we've got just over 2 minutes of racing left to go as they make their way under the Panasonic sign. Is he going to make a move?
It'd be nuts to go around 130R. Trying to overtake it. It's not the place to do it. What's impressive is that Jack hasn't disappeared off yet. So what's impressive is that Hugh and Neil are you know, sort of keeping up with him. That's pretty good.
Yeah, Hugh and Neil are very fast. Every time I've done one of my open lobbies, and when we was with Luka Zavicic, Neil was up there with him, and he was sort of up there with most of the races, sort of the same as Scotty, because obviously Scotty's very quick, but yeah, they can both perform. They're both very quick.
Excellent. So Hugh's calmed down a bit, and he's pulled a little bit of a gap. Neil was a bit squirrely. I think he put a wheel onto the grass and it upset his car a little bit. But yes, this is another good little battle for the last 1 minute. So this is going to be the final lap, I believe.
Indeed, 1.5 seconds separating movement to Damo. Seal in P6, 0.5 of a second. We'll keep an eye on that. Jack, 4.8 seconds away from P3, which is now occupied from Mikey, being very consistent in the number 45 Volkswagen Scirocco. Only 1 second separating himself and JD in the Audi. And Scotty with a P1 today. We're going to just jump back on board with Hugh Hattrick, as he has a half a second advantage over Seal, but can he hang on to that as they come up through the final lap now?
Will we get a lap 15, or do you think it'll end on this 14? 15 seconds left, so where's Scotty? He's approaching the end of the lap. I don't think we'll get another lap. I think this will be the end. 3, 2, 1. That's the end of the time. So this is the end of lap 14. It's very close to being a 15 lap race, but
do we get a flash from Scotty for taking home a P1?
Oh,
we get a
handbrake
turn. JD with P2, Mikey with a P3. Irish and Guinness. He'll be treating himself to a Guinness today. VQS Jack in PTMK, Hugh Hattrick in P5, Seal in P6, Damo taking home P7, and Moomin giving us a flash as he crosses that start-finish line in P8. So fastest lap goes to VQS Jack with a 2:07, but Scotty taking the gold day, P1 podium position in the lime green Volkswagen Scirocco, and a big congratulations to Scotty with P1 there. That was incredible racing indeed, wasn't it?
It was superb. Lots of action, lots of controversy, lots of things. You know, excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. This is what we like to see. Great job, everybody. Great job. Yeah, we're going to have a look. Don't forget to save the replay, Mr. Matt Starr. So,
yep, done it.
We can have the butchers and see what we shall see. CCC. Yeah. Unfortunate. I mean, you've got to take into consideration the fact that Jack had a nearly 2-second penalty to serve anyway, and they were fighting each other. They were both being kind of fair, but there was the odd nudge from both of them. So we'll have to have a good look at it properly and see what happens and discuss it between the marshals, and we shall marshal a plan. What do you think? But everyone did brilliantly. Scotty, Jack, brilliant. All of you, super duper. Oh, don't be too upset, Jack. You did a great job, mate. You're still well in the lead of the championship, and the last race is going to be epic, I believe. Is that the right term? Do you think, Matt?
Absolutely. Well, at the end of the day, racing is racing. I've never not seen one race where there's never been any incidents occur at all. This is racing. Unfortunately, we're doing it digitally. Doing this in real life and driving this way in real life and causing these sorts of damages would be a totally different story. And of course, it can't really be. It can't be for open discussion, really, in the sense of it's up for the marshals to discuss for any inquiries that need to be made. But again, it is just racing. It is what it is. Which actually brings me to what Simon was saying to me earlier. I think we're all going to meet up, all our English folk, in April to the British Touring Car Championships.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
So you'll have, hopefully Hugh and yourself can make it, and everyone else in the GT Sport community in England. But yeah, I bring that up because British Touring Cars is, you know, somewhat side by side, scraping paintwork and that kind of thing, isn't it?
Plato. Watching Plato race, and well, there's a few of them that are a bit sort of robust, shall we say? But yeah, the overtaking in British time cars. And my favourite for pure entertainment value is the Ginetta Juniors, because they're nuts. They're a bunch of kids Jack's age who are in real cars, tearing around the circuit, doing things like, you know, like when we were being told that you can't go 2 abreast around the S's. Well, I've seen them on different tracks going 3 abreast around hairpins and smacking into each other, and oh, it's carnage, and it's fantastic because they're all nuts and they've got adrenaline and they're young and they're just trying to kill each other. It's just fantastic. Bristol cars, and it's a cheap day out relatively. You know, when you're paying 200 odd quid for tickets to Silverstone, I think it's something like 40 quid or something for the whole day, and you get race after race.
I know,
after race.
it's so cheap, and I know, just the just being there and listening to the engines is just beautiful.
Great value for money.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's on my list of things to do. Is get to a BTCC race, you know, definitely. Well, so there. Indeed.
So it's Brands Hatch for touring cars, was that?
Let's have a look.
111.
Let's see.
One.
Oh dear, they're arguing in the chat. Come on, lads. No arguing in the chat. There's no need. We'll sort it out.
Oh, that's the final. I'm with you.
Oh, the very last. Yes, it's always at Brands, isn't it? The final. Yes. You say he'll pick me up on his bus because he's got a job. He's got a job as a bus driver.
Why can't I change? Fair enough.
I don't know. Trying to work out how to share. So I'm just sorting out type on this thing.
Ciao, demo.
Oh. Yes, thanks everybody for joining us. I'm just sharing, for anyone interested, I'm just sharing the replay. I can type in under HHTCR. Search terms including round 5 in Suzuka. Spell Suzuka. Come on, Andrew. Oh dear. What the hell? Enter message text. Play. Replay for. Oh. Right, everybody, I've on the PlayStation I've shared the replay, or I am sharing the replay now. Should anybody want it that way? So what's everybody getting for Christmas? My 2 front teeth. Someone's watching football. Why? Never understood.
Well, that was some incredible racing, though. It's got to be said. I thoroughly enjoyed both of them races. I should have saved the first race as well. Saving races is something I need to start doing more often.
Oh, I should have too. Ah, did he not do the whole lot then? Only just the one, doesn't it? That's annoying. I forgot to do it the first time too, myself. Oh!
Yeah, Mikey's not really... that was unfortunate there between Hugh and Mikey coming up into turn 1 into lap 3.
That was where Hugh outbraked himself.
Yeah, both of your wheels were straight at the time of contact. Again, just another racing incident from my point of view.
On lap 2.
Lap 3, yeah, between Mikey and Hugh. There is a tiny bit of contact, but looking on board, there's no
I thought there
Mike
was
is
no
still
contact.
just turning right.
I didn't see the
You're still on
contact.
YouTube?
I'm kind of looking at YouTube. I've got no sound because it's on my computer, so my telly's got the
With you.
PlayStation on. I've got the replay up though. So I was watching. Jack was talking about turn 1 lap 2 between him and Scotty, where he goes to the outside, turns in, and he sideswipes. He ends up on the going off the track. To me, it's he's catching up with him. He's halfway along the car, but on the outside. Scotty goes to the inside to defend. Jack goes down the outside, turns in, but he turns in into Scotty. Scotty's already on the inside edge of the track. There's nowhere else he can go. You'll have to have a look, see what you think.
Yeah. I'm on it now on YouTube if you see it, yeah.
You see he sort of turns to go into the corner, but he's alongside, not fully alongside, but he's kind of alongside Scotty. So I don't know what Scotty could have done there, because he's just driving along. So okay, that's that one. Unfortunate, I mean absolutely unfortunate, but okay, so now we're coming up to his big penalty. Right, he cuts both parts of the chicane. He's right over the grass on both parts of the chicane. But that's a hefty penalty, that is. To take it from 4 tenths up to 1.9 seconds, that's a really hefty penalty. So, okay, that's that. And he goes after him and he's reeling him in slowly over many laps. Okay, so lap 11. Okay, turn 1 lap 11. Same sort of move as turn 1 lap 2, but instead of side swiping, he goes behind him and then taps him, which pushes Scotty off. So then he gets past, but Scotty Scotty's controlled it. It's not like a massive, he undercuts. Okay, let's just go on board. And he's braking, but he's not full brakes. So I'd say that was just, there's no point in worried about that one, because okay, he did tap him, but he didn't didn't send Scotty off the track. Scotty cut back and got back ahead. So rest of lap 11. So lap 11 is, it looks like the one where the argy-bargy started between them. Outside. Cut back. He's got up the inside of 200R. It's another one where Jack has pressing the button, going back too far. So Jack's they're approaching 130R. Jack's very close, he takes it wide, and then he sort of he pushes Scotty's back left corner. So the bit that you're watching now on YouTube, that's the bit where he gets tapped and then a little bit wide. And then a little further round towards the very end of it, you've got 130R, and Jack goes up the inside and taps the inside corner. It's a bit I've just looked at. Of Scotty, which sends him off the track. I mean, it's not like a big hit, it's a push and a rub. But he's still there.
It does feel, I mean, you know, I mean, I had an incident today. I had a really good race on race C, and I got 1,300 DR points for that race.
Okay.
A very good race. Next race was in P3, whatever, and you know, it was coming up to a corner. I don't know that I even broke too late, but anyway, there was just a little bit of a tap. Nothing happened. There was just a bump. He was still side by side, so I just pulled left to give him space, so he could move on. I saved it, and I had a look at this to see whether he did it on purpose. And I had a look, and you can tell from the replays whether people do it on purpose, because you can look inside the cockpit cams and you can see what they've got. Like, so between Hugh Hattrick and Mikey, yes, there was contact, but absolutely none of it was deliberate. You know, and that's the beauty of how Gran Turismo replays, is you can sort of tell what's behind the intent, but it doesn't seem, you know, there's no purposeful punts here, like you say. I think it's just racing. Racing's rough. I mean, racing's brutal. I mean, especially when you're watching real life stuff and the accidents that occur there. And
well, the thing people forget when they're talking about this stuff is that because it's racing, the cars are always on the edge. They're on the edge of adhesion. They're on the edge of everything. So
got no window,
you can't just. It's not like a car on the road where you're doing 30 mile an hour, you turn and it swerves. You're on the edge of grip, and if you turn, there's no more grip to use because you're going as fast as you can. So, yeah, I'm just looking at this. So after
grass,
Scotty goes off onto the grass. So before this, it's sort of towards the end of the previous lap. Scotty then dives up the inside. You know, of the
that seems way
chicane.
That seems like a bit of this Gran Turismo. Like, it's not even. That's a massive spin.
So they
yeah, the
barged
wheel
past
right.
each other.
Yeah. Okay.
Barged past each other. And then down the straight. Jack's still ahead because he sort of barged back. Bled off. Right, so he bleeds off his... Oh, come on. Andrew.
Yeah, if Scotty was still turning right at that point, you know, it's
I'm just coming up to that bit.
This is racing, and I think one thing that I've learned, I think, this is the difference, I suppose, like, the more you race and I suppose the older you get, I mean, 30 minutes is very short. Do you know what I mean? You're setting dogs off to have a fight. You know, you're unchaining them and saying go, winner wins. You know what I mean? Whereas, like, if you have a minimum 60-minute race or you do 2-hour races, you've got the long game, and so therefore the faster person will ultimately overtake you. So it's not necessarily a problem. It's just one of the negatives of shorter races, I suppose. People are more aggressive because they want that position. You want to get it
done because you know you haven't got as much opportunity to. So yeah, where Jack came off that bit you were just looking at, he didn't come off from contact. He was half on the grass and span. Is what I'm reading that as. I don't know if you've got the same thoughts, but they'd both been sort of bashing each other a lot, you know. So I'm on board with Scotty now.
Well, you're allowed to drive however the hell you like, you know. You're allowed.
Washes wide. That first, the end of the turn one, he's washing wide. Like you say, he's still turning right, and he's trying to turn. But the car's washing white. He's not driven out there to push Jack off. If that makes sense. If he is, I don't know how he's doing that.
It's aggressive racing. I mean, I would no way in hell do this in real life. And again, it's bridging the differences between the digital world and the real world in the sense that there's no real fear. I've said this a lot since playing it again, and it's because I play Assetto Corsa. You play Assetto Corsa, you fear. There is a genuine fear of contact.
Yeah, because you can have damage.
Yes.
And I've said when me and Hugh when the COVID thing kicked off and they cancelled all the Formula One and they started they started by calling it not the F1, you know, virtual Grand Prix, and they had Leclerc and all that lot joining in with it, remember? And Russell, Norris, they had some really good battles. Well, one thing I noticed is that on a lot of the tracks, they were just cheating. They were smacking into each other and straight lining corners and doing all this stuff, which they would never be able to do in a real car because the car would smash. I mean, Hugh talked about it online. We said that what they need to do is have damage. If the cars had damage, they'd only do it once, and then they wouldn't do it again.
Yeah. This is. I mean, Gran Turismo are never going to do it, but hopefully other games will. But I feel
you can put damage on here.
Yes, you can. You can.
Because I've done it. I wanted to try it out.
I'm considering actually doing that in some of my races because it would absolutely change the way people drive.
It would. It'd be frustrating for people that were caught in the middle of it all, but I think it would reduce the amount of smashing into each other that happens.
And I think again, I don't necessarily think it's anyone's. No one's necessarily done anything wrong here. It's the game. It's like I was trying to say earlier. That guy, you know, he purposely wanted to hit me back because again, at the end of the day, if you're in a Lotus 80 or 86, whatever it was, it's the FT 1500 in Gran Turismo. But if you're in one of those cars, there's no way in hell you're just going to.
The old F1 cars.
Yeah. Nigel Mansell drove in that. There's no way in hell that you're just going to bump someone back in an open wheel flipping, you know, old F1 cars. It's absolutely unrealistic. And if you used to do it in some of the other games, you would spin, there'd be incredible damage, and it would just be game over. But Gran Turismo, they have this basis that they want the game to just be enjoyable, they want it to be fun, and I think, but what they've done is they've delved into FIA, they've delved into sports races, and I can see why they've done it, because it's great business, it's great exposure, and this sort of thing. But at the end of the day, I think there has to be a line between realism and just a game for aesthetics, because this game is beautiful, and he says that a lot about what he does. He wants his games to be really pretty. The amount of time they spend on every car and the graphics and all this sort of thing.
Hence the detail, that kind of stuff, yeah.
So it's, you know, it is a simulator, but there's just, when you play other simulators, you very quickly realise the differences. It's difficult for some people to come back to Gran Turismo, but I've been really enjoying it because of the array of cars, the community, the races. I've had a lot of fun playing it, to be honest.
Okay, cool.
And I wouldn't have got that from, you know, the more serious sims. So everything's got its place.
Yeah. And it's, I mean, the real life race is interesting, because Schumacher used to do this thing. He was one of the first ones that used to, over the free practice days, would push the speed until he came off the track. And then he knew the limits then, and then he would dial it back. And it was a known thing, you know. And so people were asking Jackie Stewart, one of the, not a pundit, but, you know, a reporter asked Jackie Stewart, what about back in your day when you were banging wheels and all that kind of stuff? How did it? What happened then? He goes, we didn't bang wheels. Kind of looked at him, goes, because if you did, you died. You know, they were losing 6 people a year on average.
Exactly. There needs to be that level of fear, and I think the way to do it is to give damage, big damage, like your wheels broke, your suspension. It's 5 minutes minimum in the pits, this sort of thing, you know. But again, the Gran Turismo are very short races. It's just Gran Turismo as a whole. It's just the mentality of Gran Turismo. I don't experience this in Assetto Corsa or other games, but again, you're talking about different kind of simulators, and it's interesting because you look at how beautiful this game is, and this is actually a really interesting thing, and I don't hate on Gran Turismo, but the coding for Assetto Corsa Competizione for PlayStation 4 is terrible. The graphics are utterly terrible. It's 30 frames per second, I think, even on PlayStation Pro.
Okay.
But it's done that because there's so much more coding gone into the actual physics of the cars. So there's so much more going on, and they've released new updates recently. They've released new tyre models, but you can only get that on PC. So they've got one for PS4, they're releasing a standalone game for PS5, and the PC version is even different to the PS5 version, so there'll be no cross-play compatibility. So what I'm trying to say is each level of computing, there's totally new levels of coding, and obviously you've only got X amount of coding to use every time you create a game, right? So they've reduced graphics and frame rate in replacing
to physics.
To physics, yeah.
Well, it's just I suppose you pick a priority and you run with that, don't you? So Gran Turismo, it's like you say, it's a game in a sense. So rather than a simulator, I mean, it obviously people drive as a simulator and it does a great job of that. But their number one priority is for people to play. So it's got to sound great, look great, you know, have features. I suppose. Does that sound like it? Whereas the Assetto Corsa is more like a simulator, like I say, a more serious driving thing. You've got the physics, you've got the tyre warm up, you've got damage, you've got, I mean, the sound of the gearboxes. And I always on Gran Turismo I always change my gearboxes for a race gearbox, just so that I can get that sound.
Yes, but do you know what, Hugh? I think you're talking about it now. This is what Gran Turismo is for me. If you come in on your race, it's all about trying to get a position. But if you come in on to just experience the car and experience driving, that's what it's all about for me. You know what I mean? And especially if you've got a clutch, you've got a shifter, even a handbrake, that sort of thing, you can really get immersed in some of the cars. But I think for anyone watching, I think that's probably going to bring the end of the stream. I did just want to show you this though, Rue, if you're still watching YouTube.
I've got it on. I've got no sound, but I've got it. I've got
that's all right. I just wanted to show you what happened here, because I, like I said, I don't know whether I was a little bit late on the brakes or whether, or whatnot. But anyway, there was a little bit of a tap. It didn't really do much, but obviously for him it was a bump. And he's decided to repay the favour. There we go.
Yeah, by the way, chat people, I'm reading your chat. It's just, you know, I don't know what to say. Just Dark Coyote making some very good points. All of you making some very good points about panel systems and damage and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, I think the community should have a say on this, and Gran Turismo should listen, because it's the FIA thing that gets me. But yeah, I mean, look at this though. So I'm on the brakes. I even go down an extra gear just to try and make sure I can miss him. I don't. I hit him unintentionally. There was no intent, which is my point here. There was no intent to do it, but because of the etiquette and the, you know, the way the game's coded, his intent was to hit me back. So, and I'm not bothered. You know, whatever. It is what it is. But if I jump, can I jump on board? Yes, I can. I can use my keyboard. Hey. If I jump on board here, look. We'll go into his cockpit cam.
I'm just gonna say good night, Scotty. Thanks for you did a great job. All of you did a fantastic job. Thanks for joining us. You know, great drive, mate. Great drive.
So I hit him wide there, look, and then he turns in, he sees me, and he goes for the little punt.
He's actually going so he had 3 or 4 stabs at the steering, doesn't he, to make sure he hits you?
Yeah, so I hit him wide, but he's okay. So I keep left to make sure I give him space, but no, bang. And for me, this sums up the Gran Turismo Sport community, or a portion of it. It's almost borderline acceptable, but would you ever do that in real life? And could you ever do that in real life? You know?
People go to prison for it. It's road rage, you know.
Exactly.
Seriously hurt. But you see, this I'm actually finding. It's been a while since I've had a car to be able to drive on, but you know, I've been driving for 30 years. Well, more than 30 years. I've passed my test for 30 years. And the people, you see people, it's like the way the F1 drivers drive these days, where they routinely hit into each other because they feel so safe. And I think modern cars feel so safe to people, they don't realise if you hit a lamppost at 50 mile an hour, you're probably going to die. And so this is why people drive so close and tailgate and sideswipe. I've seen so many people try to... on my bike, on the M4, when I used to work in a power station down there, I used to drive from Caerphilly down towards Swansea, and one fella tried to push me into the barrier because I was overtaking the outside lane and he didn't like it. It's like, well, I'm on a bike, I'm trying to get to work, and I don't really care who you are. I'm not racing you, I'm trying to get to work. And this guy decided that I'm coming out now and just pushed me right out. I was very lucky not to get killed.
Well, this is it. I mean, you know, it's
people are doing it, and it's nuts.
Yeah, and I think this is my point. If it happens, as long as there was no intent, it's the intent. That's why I saved that video, because I wanted to go on his cockpit cam and I wanted to see whether he turned in on purpose, which he did. So, you know, again, no, I'm not. I don't want to hold on to negativity. I don't want to do all this stuff, but I want to remember him, because when I see him again, you know, I want to make sure I stay out of his way. But it just
keep out of his way, exactly. But then that spoils the racing for you, because you can't sort of relax into it and just go for an overtake, because you think, what's this guy going to do, because he's seen me before. This guy will crash into me if I go past him. It's nuts. I just wonder, Dark Coyotes are doubting my 50 mile an hour lamppost thing. I had a friend called Adrian, whose wife and their friend both were killed outright hitting a lamppost. It wasn't a particularly strong car, it wasn't a Saab, it was a Hyundai, but it killed his wife, who was driving, because it hit the lamppost on that side. She died outright, broke her neck.
Right.
They do Euro crash tests, Euro NCAP crash tests are at 40 miles an hour. Legal crash tests are at 30 miles an hour. So 50 mile an hour, okay, you might not die, but there's a very good chance you'll be severely injured because cars are not built to hit an immovable object. and you survive. The forces involved are too great. No, I'm not having to go at you, Dark Cloty. I'm just, yes, I completely agree with you. Many people hit many things and don't die. Yes, I'm not just, not being melodramatic or upset. Just people don't know how weak cars are or how weak our bodies are.
Yeah.
We're not built to hit things at 50. We can run at 25 if you're Usain Bolt.
Well, that's it, and I think you don't quite get the sense of speed in this game either. When you're doing like 180 mile an hour, it kind of feels like you're doing 40.
Yeah.
So just giving someone a bit of a tap at 180 mile an hour, it's like you just never do it. I mean, I would love Gran Turismo to just increase its damage model and that kind of thing, in the sense of it becoming fearful, because everyone would respect each other so much more, because you would have to, because you can. You can, and every time I stream this, I'm always saying the inside line is the alpha. If you're on the inside line, and what I mean by that is you can dive bomb the inside line, but if you dive bomb and then you're side by side, I was on the inside line, but that isn't racing. Realistically, if you're going to go for an overtake, you need to be already side by side, and you've just got a good run. Your nose is side by side, so therefore you have the line.
This is the craziness of the way they're doing these penalties in Formula 1 at the moment, because it's like, who was I listening to the other day? I think it was a guy called Peter Windsor, who is on YouTube. He used to be, I think he was the Williams team manager. He was certainly involved with Williams anyway. And he, good night, Jeremy. Oh, and also good night, Simon. I think. Oh no, it's Richie. Richie's going. Yeah, sorry, Jerry's saying good night to Richie because Richie's going. So, thanks for everything, Richie. You're super duper. What a guy.
Thank you, Richie.
And he was talking about the outside line, and the outside line has always been the danger place. If you're in the outside line, there's a big chance that the inside person is going to slide out into you.
Yep. And like you say, you're always on the edge of the Dijon as well.
Yeah, it's and just because you're alongside entering a corner doesn't mean you can both go through the corner, because to go through the corner as fast as most racing drivers have to go through a corner, you've got to take the right line, and if you're alongside each other, one of you can't do that. So it's always gonna happen,
Yeah, I like to be very respectful as much as I can, even on the dailies, because even race C is 25 minutes, which is a short race, but and I can only compare it to competitors only because it's the other sort of real racing game that we have, simulator on console. But there is an incredible amount of respect for yourself and the other driver in your car when you're playing that game. It translates the fear really well.
Because you're knackered. If you can't finish the race because you've broke your car, you're not going to do something. Well, you're less likely to do something stupid. I get people bashing into each other and all that kind of stuff if you're indestructible. That's why I make all these jokes about having guns, because that's pretty much the way it is. It's like death race. Because like you say, there's no consequences to bashing into someone.
Yeah.
But if they get severely damaged, then there would be. And you do it a couple of times and you'd either get bored because you can't drive like an idiot and stop playing, or you'll change the way you drive.
This is it, and I think that's what Mr. Gran Turismo is afraid of, because I think as soon as he makes it a little bit more realistic in that sense, I think it's going to put off a lot of people, because it's going to become too invasive. But I don't know, to be able to include the option, which they do have a damage model, they do have a light and a strong damage model in this game, which I'm not really utilised.
I played with it. I did. You can set up like your own personal race against the AI. So I did it on the special stage, you know, that massive long 20-mile oval, just because I wanted to. And I set it up with tyre wear, fuel being used, and everything that a normal car, that I could find that a normal car would have. And it was weird because I accidentally hit a wall, and okay, the car crabbed, but I still won by like a minute. It's like the damage wasn't that much damage, considering I hit a wall at 180 mile an hour.
Yeah.
Sorry, 280 mile an hour.
280 miles an hour.
Yeah, I'm in that Ferrari souped up to 900 and some horsepower, and I was doing like, on the slight downhill section I can get to 283.
Wow.
So, well, that's nothing. If you see Richie's got like a GTR.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
He regularly gets to 290. I was drafting him, we were doing something silly, and I was drafting him, and I think I got to 295, so the fastest I've been on that, in that Ferrari, was 295 miles an hour, because I was slipstreaming him. That was fun. So, yeah, that's nothing. Moomin's on his way out as well.
Ciao, Moomin. Thank you for all your work.
Great. I'm you know, hope you had fun. Lonely position where you were, but still good, I hope. And thank you very much for the compliments. Excellent.
Dude.
So Ian's saying that he thinks Lewis and Mert should have had penalties at Silverstone and Hungary. I don't know, Ian. I don't know, because the problem I have is that Max is very aggressive. And there does seem to be... I'm not a particular fan of Lewis. I admired both of their driving abilities, and I was looking forward to a good fight this year. I'm not a particular fan of Lewis because he comes out with some stupid things, but they both are aggressive on the track. We've seen that over the years with, you know, Rosberg and other people, but they then bash each other back. It's kind of like that boss thing. The Schumacher used to do it. I'm in charge, you know, get out of my way. And then people, it's a psychological thing. People will get out of the way. Some people don't. Like Villeneuve didn't. Villeneuve didn't care, so he just bashed him back, you know, because he's nuts. Stuff like that. So I don't know whether... I'm sick and tired of penalties for overtaking. Brazil, I mean... I've had a really good look at what happened at Brazil with Verstappen, and he just drove straight. He sort of looked at the apex and went, "No, I'm not going over there. I'm going over there to make sure he goes off."
Yep.
And yet nobody cares about.
Well,
there's
been some interesting events, hasn't there, between Max and Lewis.
Just let him race. Just let him get on with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Lewis was on the inside at Silverstone. He was nearly pushed into the wall by Max.
Yeah.
And Max did nothing to try and avoid that accident, and then they all shouted at Lewis for nearly killing Max. And it's like, well, if it had been the other way around, as it has, I mean, there were lots of races like Imola where Max punted him straight over the chicane, and Lewis avoided that. So I think they should just leave them all alone and let them get on with it. I'm sick and tired of races being decided by stewards.
Yeah.
Just as a racing fan, I'm just sick and tired of stewards and Michael Massey. I should have said goodbye to Mr. Mew earlier as well, because he said goodbye.
Just going. I'm going to disappear too. Mr. Coyote. Good seeing you, mate. Get that Dirt 2 downloaded on your PlayStation, and we'll get doing some rallycross together. Thanks for joining in. We will see you next time, buddy.
Right.
And Whiskey's leaving too. Yeah. Ciao, Whiskey. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate everything. Hope you enjoyed your flight earlier.
Ooh, people flying. Oh, he does the fly simulators, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
I see.
Watching them. Have you seen them? We did one today.
I don't know much, but I remembered that. That's good.
Well, thank you very much, Roo. It's been a pleasure.
It's been great, wasn't it? It's good. I mean, good racing and lots of action, lots of things happening. Good stuff. Thank you for doing a a brilliant job of hosting the whole thing.
Yeah.
Thank you to was it Moomin that actually hosted the lobby? Thank you to Moomin for hosting the lobby.
Indeed.
That we were all in, and Hugh for being him and having the TCR in his name, and everybody involved. Moomin, Daiko, you, everyone.
Indeed.
Yes.
It's been a pleasure. Well, we've got one more to go in, what is it, a month's time? 2 weeks' time?
January the 15th.
January the 15th. It's 5 weeks' time, so...
We're being asked for a game of golf in the week because he's off.
Oh, yeah? We need to do that. That would be amazing. By the way, Rue, oh, yeah, we need to pay for it. I forgot. I've got my ACC TMKup tomorrow. I was going to say about cons, but...
Don't worry.
I'm just wondering if there's a way I can do it. I don't think there is.
Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. You sound good. Get Hugh to do it with you. He's got it.
It's true.
He's got it.
Okie doke. Well, thank you very much. We're going to end the stream there, and thank you for everyone that's been here. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for the likes. And I look forward to seeing you on the 15th for the final of the HHTCR.
Excellent. So, thank you very much. Good night. God bless.
Ciao, ciao.